Hi, you guys. So today I'm going to talk about some of the things that gang stalking communities do when trying to antagonize and make a disaster of your life. So I'm going to start with my verse, and it's John 1, chapter 4, verse 1. Beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirit whether they are of God, because many false prophets are gone out into the world. So today, when I read this verse, it brought me back to my situation. Now, not everyone's situation is the same, but the reason why I constantly bring up money being involved is because for people to know you and know your character and know who you are, but somehow still decide to turn against you, there's obviously a motive behind it, which to me, the motive for them would obviously be money or an inheritance, or maybe they want something you have financially, or maybe materialistic things that you may have. But there's always an underlying reason of why you're being gang stalked. And for me personally, I have figured out that I have been gifted with a very special gift by our God Almighty, our divine creator, and I am humbly and gratefully blessed for my gift. I walk beside God every single day, and He never fails me. He listens to me and He answers my prayers and He protects me. But I also seek God. So today, if you're being gang stalked, I encourage you to please, please, please seek God. The reason why I brought up this because it says, "Beloved, believe not every spirit. Try them whether they believe in God." Because what happens is these gang stalking communities will come in and they will send people into your life, and they know you. Like for me personally, and I said it before and I'll keep saying it, I'm the Truman Show, the real life Truman Show, and I've been watched majority of my life. But as I became an adult, um, they started really watching me and seeing my success in life. I didn't go to college, no, but I have always been very ambitious in whatever it is that I do. So they were able to see me, become a supervisor, and um, they were also able to see people that they've sent in my life prior to that be rude and mean and tear me down. But I kept going and I kept persevering, all by the faith of God, all due to God. My family that know me know that since I was a child, I've always said, like, I'm highly favored by God. And, I've talked about this too, how people get offended by that, which they do, because it says in the Bible, God has no favorites, which He does. But He also says, do not touch my anointed one. And I am proudly and gratefully one of God's anointed ones. I am part of one of the 144,000 chosen ones that God has chosen. So you have big celebrities or big people that are in the spots and positions that they are from siphoning and taking people's energies, and they do that through spiritual because when you think of spiritual, you think of just spiritually like God and the good side, or I know I always did, but then I had to come to the realization that it's not all good. That's where the demons come in. That's where the evil, um, skin crawlers, and I really don't know the whole concept of the whole thing, because I'm, like I said, just now figuring all this out. But you think of Satan and Lucifer, and these people have sold their souls. Um, they have sold their souls. The main one, whoever has hired all these people to gang stalk you, has most likely sold their soul to the devil and to Lucifer by promising him something. So that thing that they're going to promise Lucifer is going to be you. I'm going to give you this person if you allow me to take what's theirs. You allow me to take their energy and their gifts, and like that's how they become, or that's why they are where they're at. So that's kind of basically what has happened to me. But in my time, I have been given what you call honey traps. Well, what that is these are men that, or women, depending on who you are and what you like, your preference. They are people who they normally, because like I said, you've been followed, so they know what you like. They know, the type of person you like. They know your type of individual that you would normally go for, or, fall for, and they know who you are. So my current honey trap was brought into my life, basically presenting himself as this godly man. He loves God. He knows who God is. He knows all the Bible verses. He um, was just an all around good guy. And I'm thinking, like, wow, okay. Because prior to that, I was dating an atheist, which is pretty mind blown. But I thought in my head, like, I can change him. If he sees my faith with God, then, like, he'll turn his life around, and then he'll want to, like, um, be part of the beautiful life of eternal life and happiness with God. Um, I've been told that he has changed his life around since we're not together. I don't know how true that is or how true that's not. I pray to God every day that he has and that he has found God, but I don't know. But my point is these gang stalking communities, not everyone that is part of the gang stalking wants to be part of it. Some are forced because they're fearful that maybe you will get hurt or your family will further get hurt. And the reason why I say your family is because they'll use your family against you. They'll use your family against you, basically. So I realized for me what they've done is every family, and if you say you don't, you're lying. You're lying. Every family will talk about one another behind each other's back, and it's not in a malicious, bad way. Like, oh, did you see what they were wearing? No, it's more like of concern, or yeah, I believe, when I first started doing drugs, I'm sure my family were coming together and talking because my whole personality and characteristic changed. So I'm sure they were coming together and, saying she's acting different. She must be doing something. What is it that's changing her? Is it, her honey trap that she's with, which, is she doing drugs or what's going on? And it caused my family to really basically put like a focal lens on my life to see what was going on. And they found out, yeah, I was doing drugs. And they were really concerned for me at first. I do believe that. But then over time, as they were trying to help me and I'm rejecting them, like, no, I don't need y'all's help. I got it on my own. They decided to take things into their own hands. And these people that have been following me my whole life decided we'll use her family as ponders in this situation of, um, going to them and saying, "Hey, she said this, and that." Because when you get with someone, and you're getting to know someone, you talk about your family. You talk about, like, yeah, I grew up this way and that way, and I grew up this way and that way, and as they're watching you interact with your family, and they see weird things, they'll ask questions. Why don't you get along with this brother-in-law? Or why don't you really treat this sister the way you treat this sister? And you start opening up and you start saying things like, well, this situation happened and this situation happened, and this honey trap would go back and tell my family what I was saying, and to them, in their view, in their eyes, they took it as backstabbing or talking bad about them or whatever. But if any of my siblings ever said the people that they were dating or married to, they didn't confide in or they didn't talk to, they would be lying. I know they did. And that's what a normal relationship would do. You should be able to confide in the person that you're with, and you should be able to tell them anything and everything and know that whatever you say is going to stay between you and them, and vice versa. If I go to my family, because at the time I thought me and my family were super close, we could tell each other anything and everything, and we did tell each other, I think, for the most part, anything and everything. So I didn't come to my family originally and say, hey, me and my honey trap are having this and this issue, like, help me. My family, like I said, started focusing in on me. And then when they would ask me, I wasn't going to be, which I did try to lie at first and say no, and, be like deceitful about it. But then I ended up just being honest and saying, yeah, this and this has happened. This has occurred. Well, when my honey trap started telling my family things that I was saying about them, my family in return turns around and tells my honey trap things that I started saying, like this and this occurrence has happened, this and this did happen. So then it turned them all against me without even giving me the opportunity to defend myself or to say, hey, um, so that's kind of what happened to me. And then you have all these people that you love and the people that were already following you to begin with. And then you have your family that are going out saying all these things about you. So then it involves the entire community and those that decided to be part of the gang stalking, the humiliation ritual, the we're going to tear her down. And she thinks, and as people started watching me without even knowing my personality, I started being judged like, oh, she's snobby, and oh, she's stuck up, and oh, instead of viewing me as standoffish because maybe I'm shy, or maybe because I don't like talking to people because I have a speech impediment, or maybe because, I have a lazy eye and I've been made fun of due to my lazy eye my entire life. There's so many reasons why prior to the whole gang stalking and the whole people following me and why I am shut off. Yeah, I like to wear makeup. Yeah, I like to do my hair, but maybe in other people's view of me, perspective of me, I'm a good looking person. But when you've been targeted your whole life as being bullied and talked down to and have been treated like you are the scum of the earth, you'll tend to shut down. You'll tend to look at people but look away or like not really want to talk or not really want to say much. So because people viewed me as, well, she looks good and she dresses nice, because back then I would dress nice. Now I don't have the money to, but I did try to keep up with myself. Um, Not the best that I could, but I done what I could to like survive, to look fairly good considering what I thought were my flaws. Um, so instead of them viewing it as maybe, yeah, like she's shy or that she's been bullied or maybe because of this or that, she just seems standoffish. No, they took it as I was snobby, I was stuck up, I needed to be humiliated so I can be humbled. And little did they know that wasn't their place to humble me. I'm a child of God, and God will examine my heart. And God knows that I'm a very humble person. I'm a very kind person. I'm a very caring and loving person. And yeah, I'm an overthinker, but I overthink because I feel like I have to, because I have to be aware of who comes into my life and who doesn't. And if people are around me because they want to make fun of me, or people around me because they're being genuine friends. And obviously, I'm figuring it out now. I had it all wrong my entire life, and it's heart wrenching, honestly. The betrayal of everyone you know in your entire life coming against you. Um, it's extremely sad. And for the three men that I dated, they probably said she's crazy and she's jealous and she's this and she's that. But because all three men cheated on me, all three men have done things to me that I wouldn't do to them. And due to that, to them, I'm crazy. But I'm only crazy because I'm calling them out on their crap, because God had given me a very strong intuition of what I was feeling, what was right and what was wrong, and insight of what was going on. So, kind of like you know, a psychic in a way. I always knew everything that was happening, whether it was said or not. I just know. And those are my gifts that God has given me, but only because God knows who He created me to be. And to God, I am His daughter. I am God's daughter. And He loves me so much that no one's going to make God's daughter look foolish. No one's going to make God's daughter look like a fool. And to God, He was giving me, I feel like, these insights and these feelings to say, hey, honey, sweetheart, wake up. Like, get out of that situation. Like, I can't have you in that situation because I have bigger and better plans for you. So I'm internally and forever grateful. But yeah, I just wanted to share that if you're being gang stalked, just be very vigilant and be aware of who's coming into your life. And right away, if you have a honey trap come into your life, really pay attention to them, because 3 months into me dating my honey trap, I got slapped in my face 3 months into it. And why I stayed, I don't know. well, I didn't know at the time, but now today I know exactly why. Because sometimes God uses us as tools to teach people lessons. And God knew I could endure everything that He was going to throw at me, and I would overcome it. And I would also be someone that was going to basically be a mirror for these people. Like, this is how you've been treating someone their entire life. This is what you've done your entire life. And like, here's my beautiful poison, basically. And I'm going to bring her into your life. And I know she's going to be able to conquer and handle everything that she needs to. And at the end, the lesson I need you to learn, you will learn. Um, that's how, so far, my entire situation I feel like is happening. But I don't know. So my point is today is not everyone that comes into your life that pretends to be of God or that pretends to believe in God is. So pray to God and ask God. Every new relationship you come into contact with, which from now on I will, because before I didn't do that, I will pray and ask God, is this person here for my best interest, or is this person here to trap me? Is this person here to take from me? Is this person here to um, watch me and send back what I'm doing and what I'm not doing? So just be very vigilant of what you're doing, and go back and read this this verse, because today when I read it, I was like, yeah, I wish I would have heard this verse a long time ago. And I encourage you today to pick up your Bible and read it, and to place all your faith into God. You guys have a good night.